Order. Simon Jupp to move the motion.
Yeah. I beg to move that this House has considered the performance of South West Water. It is a pleasure to serve under your chairship, Mr Henderson. I'm delighted to have secured this important debate, and today's debate is 1 year on from the same debate I secured on the performance of South West Water. It is another opportunity to hold South West Water to the highest possible standards on the floor of this Parliament. Last year, I described the performance of our water company's historic lack of investment as shameful. I know many constituents shared my point of view. This year, I want to focus my speech on the facts facing my East Devon constituency. The public wants to see evidence of improvement. The public wants to see delivery of a promised investment, and the public wants South West Water to clean up their act and our water. South West Water must deliver better services for our constituents, improve our bathing waters, and protect our natural environment. Without doing so, puts the vibrancy of our coastal communities under threat. As the MP for East Devon, I'm determined to push South West Water to deliver the standards expected by local residents, visitors and businesses. I want the unacceptable pollution we've seen in Exmouth, Sidmouth and Budleigh Salterton to be met with the full force of the law. We finally have the tools to hold South West Water to account, thanks to this Conservative government. This is the biggest crackdown on sewage spills in history. Unlimited fines, accelerated investment plans, legal targets to reduce discharges from every single storm overflow and eliminating all ecological harm, compulsory storm overflow monitors and forcing live spill data to be made public. I voted for all of that. The government has passed a suite of new laws to crack down on spills, which include the Environment Act 2021, the Environmental Targets Water Regulations 2022, the Environmental Civil Sanctions Amendment Order 2023, and the Environmental Permitting Amendment Regulations 2023. These new laws, brought in by this Conservative government and no government previously, are forcing the hand of water companies. But new laws on their own will not clean up our water. More investment, better data and tougher enforcement are clearly needed. Now, looking at investment, we know that South West Water has historically failed to invest. We pay the highest sewerage bills in the country, and we've not had our fair return for decades. On data, we now know the scale of the problem because this government lifted the lid on the water companies' infrastructure and made them pay to monitor the results of their own failures. On enforcement, the Environment Agency must be appropriately funded to carry out their enforcement work. To crack down on water pollution, this government has boosted funding for the Environment Agency. There is a £2.2 million per year budget specifically for water company enforcement activity, and that means more officers focus on regulation, compliance checks and more data specialists. The Environment Agency workforce numbers are higher than a decade ago. There are now 13,200 staff, and it's growing in their base in Exeter. In the last 2 years, staff numbers have grown by 2,300 across the Environment Agency. So are things moving in the right direction? Well, as the Environment Agency have said, there is still much work to be done. The Environment Agency's latest annual rating for South West Water is now 2 stars. That rating is for 2022. In 2021, it was a 1-star water company. The Environment Agency said that the 2-star rating is evidence of modest improvements. However, they also said that pollution was still at unacceptable levels. I agree. It was only last year that South West Water was fined £2.1 million after admitting it caused pollution across Devon and Cornwall dating back to 2016. And the year before last, South West Water was hit by £13 million in the form of fines of bill deductions for customers. Since these fines were handed out, the government has legislated to introduce unlimited financial penalties on water companies and expand the range of offences to which penalties can be applied. I will give way.
I'm grateful to the honourable member for giving way. And that's interesting to note that there was a £2.1 million fine levied against South West Water. But for a company that has a debt in its water business of £2.8 billion, does he think that £2.1 million in terms of debt or in terms of a fine that is levied is going to make any difference?
I think every little helps, and when we look at, for example, the scale of fines and potential new fines in the future by ongoing investigations, which I'll come to later, I think we'll see more money levied in that way from South West Water in the future. Money raised by fines will then be channeled back into improving water quality, supporting local groups and community-led schemes which help to protect our waterways. Now, the bosses of water firms that commit criminal acts of water pollution will be banned from receiving bonuses. I am pleased that the Chief Exec of South West Water led by example here by not accepting a bonus last year. Meanwhile, the industry regulator Ofwat is currently investigating South West Water's wastewater treatment works and leakage reporting. I and many other colleagues look forward to seeing the outcome of these investigations. The need for independent regulators, Ofwat and the Environment Agency, to act decisively in these investigations is crucial. Unfortunately, I have to report the start of 2024 was particularly poor for South West Water in my constituency. Exmouth has faced several major incidents resulting from failures in South West Water's infrastructure and a lack of investment in the town. South West Water has been using tankers to take sewage from burst sewer pipes to pumping stations, causing additional spills due to the disposal of additional tankered sewage. These incidents are currently under investigation from the Environment Agency, and the situation was and is completely unacceptable.
Will you give way on that point?
Of course.
I thank the Honourable Gentleman for East Devon securing this debate, but the instance that he has just given is something that's been happening in the town of Kingsbridge, in my constituency, where there have been significant floods, where raw sewage has been coming out of the network. And the problem with this is that the investigations are not quick enough, the action to resolve them are not quick enough, and the understanding of the damage that this does to both residents and businesses is not well enough understood by South West Water, who need to engage at a far quicker rate. Does he not agree?
I do agree with my honourable friend. I think that the extra resources that are being pumped into the Environment Agency in our region will no doubt be helpful. Unfortunately, when it comes back to Exmouth, some of the ground teams, so contractors but people that also work for South West Water, were trying to fix this mess, faced harassment and abuse during the weeks of disruption. Historic underinvestment and poor management from South West Water executives is not the fault of workers on the ground who are out day in, day out in all weather. And I want to thank everyone who worked to fix those failures. They worked so hard, come rain or shine. As investigations continue into this extremely sorry state of affairs, I'm continuing to work with the Environment Agency, Ofwat and the Water Minister. Every option must be on the table in response, including hefty fines. The recent debacle in Exmouth has once again demonstrated the dire need for fast-tracked investment into Exmouth's water infrastructure, fully funded by South West Water. I've asked Ofwat to include Exmouth's recent pollution incidents as part of their ongoing investigation into sewage treatment works, and I'm pleased this is happening. I did visit the Exmouth burst pipe alongside the Environment Agency, and I challenged South West Water on the timescales for a permanent solution, and repeated my calls to speed up their plans for £38 million worth of investment in Exmouth. Now, work includes upgrades to reduce spill frequency at Fear Park and Mare Road pumping stations and upgrading the sewage treatment works outlet through Sandy Bay Holiday Park. It is apparently due to be completed by March 2025. But let me be exceptionally clear. I remain to be convinced that plans to manage spills by moving them from one part of the network to the other across town or by building pipes further out to sea, I don't think they will deliver the result the people of Exmouth dearly deserve. Nor will I or anyone else be grateful for a partial fix. I would add that we still do not know the precise location of an important sewer overflow in Exmouth. After so many months, South West Water still hasn't determined where the Mare Road CSO spills off Exmouth Beach. That is unacceptable.
Will you give way again on that?
I will give way.
I apologise for intervening twice on him, but actually he's just made an essential point about the impact that water companies are also having on our aquaculture businesses, some of which are based out of Brixham, but some of which are also based out in Lyme Bay of his constituency, which are severely jeopardised by the network that South West Water operates and by their lack of ability to treat their sewage, and therefore puts those businesses in jeopardy. Will he agree that we actually need to make sure that they are taking into account what businesses are going to be affected by those networks?
I 100% agree with my honourable friend. He makes a very powerful point about the impact on businesses that this unacceptable performance leads to happen. Now, the end of the pipe off Exmouth Beach is important to know. We need to know the location, not only for a potential breach of the Environment Agency's permit conditions, but also for the safety of bathing water users. I remain on the case with South West Water. But this saga, let me be really clear, has dragged on for far too long. Both the Environment Agency and I agree that investment to reduce sewage spills in Exmouth is well overdue. and I will not relent in my calls for more investment from South West Water in Exmouth and across all parts of East Devon. Near to Exmouth is the gorgeous town of Budleigh Salterton. The town is at the mouth of the River Otter and a new national nature reserve I was privileged to go to just a couple of weeks ago. A couple of hours ago, I learned that a sewer pipe burst in Budleigh Salterton happened last night. South West Water were using tankers to transport flows from Budleigh to Mare Lane sewage treatment works. I understand from South West Water the repair has now been complete. I remain in touch with them about this very recent incident and its impact on the local environment and disruption to residents. I've already received several emails on the matter. I've asked South West Water for more details on their longer-term plans for Budleigh Salterton and what their investment will mean in terms of spills. Now, following my debate in Parliament last year, South West Water announced a new multi-million-pound package to upgrade Sidmouth and Tipton St John's sewer system and reduce the number of spills. Now, I've been calling on South West Water to speed up this already announced investment into the area. I reiterate my call today. I know they'll hear me. We've seen far too many reports of spills off Sidmouth Beach in the last few weeks, and if it is possible to go further and faster while balancing the cost to customers, South West Water must not hesitate to do so. And if South West Water believes their sewage systems cannot cope with new housing developments, they must say so. The government is looking to consult on whether to make water companies statutory consultees on major planning applications. This is something I wholeheartedly support and would urge the Minister to press ahead with as quickly as possible. Now, I firmly believe that applications for new planning developments should only go ahead if it is clear the local water infrastructure can cope. I would also urge the Minister to get water companies to install monitors on all emergency overflows. There cannot be any excuses for pollution. I understand the government wants to do this, so I'd be grateful to hear a timescale for when this could happen. Looking at my part of Devon, South West Water must make its water infrastructure fit for the future. Now, I understand when the new town of Cranbrook, which I'm proud to represent, was being built, South West Water opted to upgrade an existing sewage treatment works in Exeter rather than build a new plant. If further development east of Exeter is to go ahead, I would urge South West Water very strongly to draw up plans for a new plant with urgency. Councillors on East Devon District Council very much jumped the gun to sign off a further new town of 8,000 homes in our district just weeks before the National Policy Planning Framework was announced, which gave them the tools to challenge such housing targets, especially in these circumstances. This was spectacularly short-sighted and risks further challenges with the district's water infrastructure. Now, I will not use much more time in this debate as I'm conscious that other colleagues would like to speak. But outside of Parliament, I've been working cross-party with East Devon Parish, Town, District and County Councillors. This must be a cross-party endeavour. I've been working with environmental groups too. I've raised their concerns with South West Water's bosses, ministers, the Environment Agency and Ofwat. We all want to hold South West Water to account about their plans to invest in East Devon and urgently fix local problems as and when they crop up, and they do crop up all too frequently. I've previously secured compensation for residents of Cliff St Mary after foul flooding in the village, and I recently helped local charity Sidmouth Hospice at Home to reach a resolution over a hefty bill from South West Water. I've also facilitated meetings between both Sidmouth Town and Lympstone Parish Councils to senior figures in South West Water to look at data and delve into the issues in granular detail. Now, South West Water have held community meetings in Exmouth and Sidmouth recently, and I urge the company publicly to continue to talk regularly with the communities that pay for their services. I would also urge South West Water to publish their post-2025 investment plans online as soon as these plans are finalised. After all, it is we, the public, that are the bill payers. We have the right to know what's going on. We all want to protect our stunning coastline, rivers and streams and hold South West Water to account for their failings. And we finally have the tools to do so through targets, fines, monitoring, data and investment plans. Now, I'm very pleased to have secured this debate on the performance of South West Water. I look very much to hearing from the contributions of other colleagues and the Minister this afternoon.
Hear, hear.